broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Minority Report fans, and welcome to episode 3 of the AFTERBUZZ TV Minority Report After Show. We are covering Hawkeye, and with me I have the two best of friends, it seems. We have Howard III.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
What's your Twitter?
Oh, you can reach me at Howard III.
And we have Cameron Penny joining the panel this week.
Cameron the First. And you can follow me on Instagram at Cameron Penny.
And I am Katie Cullen, Lord of the Andals, Sitter of the Iron Throne, and first of her name. And you can, that's not the right title, and I don't care. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We're also checking the hashtag tonight. That is ABTVMReport. So if you have anything fun to say, if you want to join in the conversation, tweet us at that hashtag. So, what did you guys think of tonight's episode?
Well, I have to be honest, this was the first time I actually watched the full episode. I've been DVRing and trying to go back to catch everything. Since I was just added to this panel, I want to thank everyone for allowing me to be here.
Of course.
But it was great. I was like, what? If the future is going to be like that, I need to live longer. Because the times we live in right now are not nowhere near what I see on that show.
Well, supposedly 50 years, so...
Yeah, because what year is it actually happening?
2065.
Oh, I'll be dead. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I won't be around.
I don't think I want the details for that one.
I can see it. I premeditated my own death. Like, I won't be here by 2065.
Okay, Howard, what did you think?
I mean, it was a pretty good episode. I'm so excited that we finally get to see Agatha, the sister, and her character like evolve a little bit more. Like, she's pretty evil.
She's scary.
Agatha, I feel like, is a silk sheath with one hell of a blade underneath. Because you think she's this really sweet, caring person and cares about her brothers, and then you see her just utterly pull the rug out from underneath the man. Let's talk about this first. Let's talk about Agatha and Charlie first. Because Agatha is still having her visions that the precogs are going to wind up back in a milk bath, if not for reinstating pre-crime, then for some other more secretive division, and that Vega is going to be part of that. So she wants someone on the inside of the government, and she winds up manipulating some guy who lives on, they're calling it the Island of Misfit Toys. I love Arthur's name for this island. Every episode he's got a new one.
For real.
So she manipulates a man named Charlie and essentially foresees, oh yeah, well, you're going to take your bag and you're going to leave tonight. And you're going to do X, Y, Z, and Theta. And she takes his money because evidently only criminals accept cash anymore. We are in a truly
tagline.
We're in a truly cashless society, evidently. And she just manipulates the hell out of him, tells him, well, if you go and live with your sister, they've already been tipped off and you know you'll be shot. And if you go here, then this will happen and your friend will betray you. And you can't go back to Chicago because you were part of this company and you embezzled X amount of $1 million from them. So what can you do, Charlie?
Agatha is the devil.
She is.
She kind of is, and it's kind of amazing.
You can see it in her eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the type of woman that will get you to cheat on your wife. Because she'll have you feeling so guilty and just give you the whole eye thing, and you're like, okay, I'm under your spell. But that she was wrong. I mean, she's good for for the story, for being the villain. I would give her that.
I wouldn't actually call her the villain for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she's Charlie's personal villain, that's for sure. And he's made more than one mention of people on the island think you're a witch, people on the island think you're the devil, people on the island are extremely superstitious, evidently.
They're all right.
I'd say that she puts her family above everything else because the government has very much screwed her over.
I agree.
And so what does she have left? her brothers. So protecting her brothers is going to be priority number one, and whoever she has to marionette to get there is collateral damage as far as she's concerned. So, like I said, there is one hell of a blade underneath a very, very nice, sweet, going to take care of your horse's exterior.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I know. I love it. I think that, like, I just love her being evil. But it's not really like you said, it's not really her being evil. She's a very overprotective sister. And, as siblings, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but she's doing some deceitful things right now.
Yeah.
And the way that she broke down every one of his next moves was kind of spooky. Like, to the point where he couldn't do nothing but drop the gun. And now I'm excited to see what's going to happen next with that story.
Oh, yeah.
This is an interesting story to watch.
They're getting very good at weaving the plot threads together. And again, this is only episode 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And we already have this much promise for the series. So I'm very intrigued as to see where the story with Charlie and Agatha will go, because she straight up said she wants someone on the inside.
Right.
And Arthur, we've seen, sets people up with fake identities.
Yeah.
So where are they going to put Charlie, and how are they going to keep him on a leash?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see, like, in the future, I kind of see Charlie double-crossing her, though. It's something about him. I know we only got, like, a little bit, like 5 seconds of him, but I feel like he's going to turn on Agatha. Like, somewhere down the line, he's going to turn. He's just going to be bad.
Well, he already showed that he embezzles money and he has some sneakiness to him. So I'm sure once he finds an opening to get up from under her spell, he's going to take it and run. But she'll probably premeditate that too and say, hey, listen, I know what your next move is. So he's under her spell. He can't do anything.
Well, and she's keeping him there via fear, is the thing.
That's the
and
word
it's
I need.
entirely possible that her putting him in whatever position she puts him in, we don't know yet, is what makes her vision come true. Because we got this last...
okay.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Because we did get the statement, I think it was last episode, that pre-crime only worked because they sold the lie that the future was set in stone.
True.
So she has this vision that she's acting off of, but it's not necessarily going to happen.
Point.
Thank you. I have points.
I know. Drop smite. She's done.
I'm saying.
I'm going to start keeping a little tally now of all the points I get.
That's a good point right there.
Yeah, that was a great breakdown.
Again, we just don't know.
Yeah.
And neither does she. She's got the advantage over him, but she may have just created her worst nightmare.
Damn.
See? Exactly.
I can't even say anything like that.
I know, like she just said
Can we get
everything.
the next week? I need to get the next week now. Like, can we fast forward that?
So back to the A plot,
Okay.
because that was just the B plot, and we're already sitting here going, give us more. We want more. Tell us. Back to the A plot, we have our opening scene is seeing Mr. Mark Massaro, who is the head of a tech company called Narcissus, which is not a super promising name for a tech company. If
You
know
work
your
in
Greek
tech outside of
mythology.
here, right?
Yeah, I do tech support.
And why wouldn't that be a good
My
name?
company, well, if you know anything about Greek mythology, Narcissus is not something you want to name yourself after. For those of you who need the primer, he was an extremely attractive man who, I need to go back and reread the myth again, but essentially he wound up falling in love with his own reflection, and the gods went, oh, okay, this is fun, and turned him into a plant.
I've heard that story. I didn't know that was his name, though.
Yeah, that is the...
I thought he loved himself to death. He just...
Essentially. Yeah, that is essentially the bottom line for Narcissus, is a very extremely self-absorbed, self-centered person, to the point where there is a neurological disorder named after it. So you don't really want to name yourself after Narcissus, and it's kind of worrying that this tech company took this name, and then their slogan, I don't know if you guys saw this on the poster, was, we put the I in team.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Like, for one, that doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
and for another, really, guys? Really? So he's the head of Narcissus, and he gets pulled over, essentially, off the freeway because he's been flagged by Hawkeye, which is this program that they've been talking about for the past 2 episodes, that it's essentially a technological stand-in for pre-crime. We get an explanation of it early on in the episode. It doesn't predict the future, but it flags patterns of behavior and flags people as potential risks. And we're going to be talking about suicide a lot this episode, guys, so if that's a problem, you may want to tune out now. Just saying.
Sensitive subject.
the person that it flags as an example is someone who was standing anxiously in a subway station for 20 minutes and then jumps in front of a train. And Vega brings up the point, okay, so are we going to arrest people for being anxious now? Like, how does this work? Mm-hmm. And it's very much touching on the idea of a police state. How far is too far? Someone acts oddly and they're under surveillance for 48 hours. Hawkeye, we get this a little later, supersedes doctor-patient confidentiality, which is a huge thing that the law right now can't go over.
Yeah.
So this is kind of terrifying as a program.
You know, with the world being so scary and, people walking into schools and colleges and stuff shooting, I like the Hawkeye. I think it's necessary to monitor certain people, but if you like me, I'm a pacer. So I could walk around the block 4 or 5 times, but I don't need them invading on my life. But if you want to watch me, you can go ahead. But the guy who jumped into the subway and then flagging, Mark was flying on the freeway. So all his actions led to Hawkeye following him for a reason. It wasn't just because he's working for the company. He actually led to the actions.
But you also have to step back and look at the NSA parallels that we have now. How much is security and how much is freedom, and what are you willing to sacrifice for what? You can have one or the other, but it seems like you can't have both.
I was in the military, and when they introduced the Patriot Act, everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're invading my privacy. But if you're not doing anything and you don't have anything to worry about, it's just like live your life. Mm-hmm. But it's just when it gets to people who are shooting schools and having these bad behavioral patterns and, kids bullying. I mean, it is necessary for some, so that should be a focus. But like I say, don't do the wrong. But like I said, if you don't have anything to hide, you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
If you don't have anything to hide, the government shouldn't be watching you.
That's my point. But they have to find out first.
And this is where we dig into some really interesting issues with this. And we could spend the whole episode unpacking those issues.
Yeah, we haven't take the show to the side and get right to the politics.
Let's have a debate right now.
Excuse me, we're about to go at it right
now. I'll be the mediator. I got you.
Sorry, Howard, whose side are you on? I'm not going to put you in the middle like that. I will ask for your thoughts on it, though.
I'll be the mediator. I mean, you guys, I could just sit back and just listen to y'all because
she's good though.
But the audience is out there. We want you actually on the panel.
Well, I mean, I guess I put my little 2 cents in there somewhere. I don't like the government watching like that. I wasn't really a big fan of the Hawkeye, but I mean, if it saves lives, then of course I'm all for it.
And it will be interesting to see if we have these other consultants, because this is starting a program where they partner a civilian Hawkeye consultant with a member of the police department. And as it turns out, for the purposes of our show, that winds up being Dash's cover, so he can actually work with Vega and have it be on the up and up. But I'd like to see how it works for someone that isn't our protagonist. I would love to see the little side story for an actual legit Hawkeye consultant and a different detective, and see if it works as well as it does with our precog, because he's kind of gaming the system a little bit.
He has a head start on anybody else for the fact that he's one of the people who can visualize murder happening. And yes, I like that. I mean, this lady, I just can't, she makes all the points. But when we was watching the show, she was like this the whole time, like.
I have lots of notes. Half of them are in caps lock because this show.
Yeah, because we don't have. It's only 3 episodes in, so we don't have so much to go off of because we're still wanting and waiting for the next because we need more content.
There's still world building at this point. If you see some of the advertisements, some of the stuff they're putting out on Twitter, there's a lot of stuff in world saying after precog's gone down, crime has risen 500% and police brutality has risen 118% and murders have risen however many percent. So this is a society that for an amount of time got used to pre-crime and is looking for a way to replace it. And they're looking to Hawkeye to do that. And the question now is, how many freedoms should it have? How far should Hawkeye be able to go? Because again, superseding doctor-patient confidentiality is huge because that's supposed to be sort of your last line of defense.
We live in a scary, scary society. And as technology grows and science grows and people get smarter, I kind of like the Hawkeyes because you just never know what anybody could do at any given moment. You know, when I first moved to LA, I was on the subway every day, and you'll be on the subway, and then somebody will be over in the next subway stabbing somebody. I mean, you know, 9/11, it's just at any given moment, anything can happen. And I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if the Hawkeye is going to save the lives, then let's have it. I just think, like you said, the whole HIPAA law type of thing where I don't want my doctor speaking about our things, you know? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I like Hawkeye pretty much.
Well, as a black guy, I've been following my whole life and haven't done anything. So to add another technology is, I guess we had to get used to that too.
True, and I can't speak from that point of experience. I can speak from the experiences of being a woman and being followed for entirely different reasons.
Get over here, sexy.
Don't even start.
You know how they
don't.
be.
I will throw you out that door. Don't even start. We actually talk about that on Blind Spot quite a bit. But yeah, this show brings up a lot of issues. We're looking at the NSA parallels here. We're looking at mental illness, which is another one, a really big part of this show, because as it turns out, our Mark Massaro, who is eventually going to kill Trevor Malone, who is just some guy that none of them know.
Yeah.
He has absolutely no connection to him. This is just one of those road rage incidents that occurs. Has been seeing a therapist, Dr. Donald Emery, because evidently once he got into Narcissus and got promoted, he freaked out. Could not handle the pressure, was terrified of everything, possibly very high anxiety, we don't know, but he was terrified of diseases, he was terrified of travel, he was terrified of failure, he was extremely shuttered because he was just afraid of the world.
His wife cheated on him, everything.
And that will definitely feed into it, even though his wife was very upfront about this was the thing, it occurred, we need to get past it, like, I screwed up, let's talk about it. It wasn't like it was some long illicit affair. It was poor judgment at one point. But that doesn't help.
Hey, you cheat on me, and I'm already having issues in my brain. It's still going to be bad.
So evidently they have neurological therapy in this future that allows you to essentially rewire someone's brain. So that is putting a lot of trust in your doctor and in a piece of technology to make things better.
That's something I wouldn't agree with, though.
Really?
Yeah, I don't mess with I mean, unless it's for like a patient, or maybe Hawkeye studies somebody who has a very bad pattern, and I don't know. You can't trust technology. Like, some things you gotta let God handle, and some things you gotta let man handle. And the brains and hearts and stuff like that is like that's from the Lord, and you gotta leave it alone. But because when you mess with it, you have to deal with the repercussions. And you see what happened to Mark. They started messing with his brain. He's thinking about committing suicide. He's driving erratically. He doesn't even know what's going on to him. And that's a good point with autism. You know, a lot of these kids lately, what happened? It wasn't big when we were little, but now they're giving these kids these shots at a young age. I got that from Donald Trump. I mean, I'm not voting for Trump, but, you know, he does make some good points every now and then. But, you know, you just don't know. You can't trust the doctors. You can't trust a lot of people out here. And she's like, who invited this guy?
Before we get into the do vaccines cause autism thing, because one, that is not on topic, and two, that has been debunked. They don't.
Okay.
That's a little off topic. We're going to steer it back on, because another thing that this episode really deals with, again, is mental illness. And I'm neurotypical. I can't speak from that experience. But it is something wrong with the brain, and that's where your antidepressants, your bipolar medication, etc., they come in to fix something that isn't wired correctly. And so we have a piece of technology that can evidently do that in place of pills, and evidently would circumvent side effects. So we're doing now with medication, with trial and error, what this machine is doing in this fictional future. And yeah, we have a situation where we have a crooked doctor who's being paid off by someone who wants this guy out of the way. But again, I have to wonder, how was this technology invented? How was it tried? What are our non-protagonist uses of this technology? Has it worked widespread for other people? Is this a cure or a therapy for mental illness that we have there?
So many questions, right?
Tons of that. I love the world building.
Yeah, I do. And you can't even answer them because we don't know.
Exactly.
We just have to continue to watch the show and then figure out where they take us. But go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I think it would be pretty cool if they did do like an episode with a little bit of background in there. Like, okay, I built this, I built that, you know.
For reason, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we would know kind of where their mindset is a little bit more.
Good job, Howard.
I want the world Bible for this series. I want to sit down and be like, here's the
Fox.
politics,
Exactly.
here's the this, here's the that. I want to be able to sit down and immerse myself in the world. And we get some of that following our protagonists.
Right.
But it doesn't answer all of my questions.
Right. So we need Fox to just give us a little dictionary, you know, on the website, like a little
Special
section.
features.
Yeah.
Right. So we can be like, oh, okay, so they got this from that from this, you know.
But I guess it's how they get renewed for a new season. To keep everybody guessing and wondering.
Yeah, seriously, watch it on Hulu, watch it on their website, watch it, DVR it. Yeah, guys, we want the numbers to stay up for this series. We're really enjoying it.
Great show.
And high-tech shows on Fox kind of have a history. So let's support the show, guys. Support the show. We want to keep watching this.
Megan is looking good as ever.
I said that.
I'm happy to see
Wilmer?
Vilmer. I don't know why I want to call
Valderrama?
him Vladimir. I don't know why I want to call him that.
Valderrama, right?
Yeah,
Last name?
Valderrama.
That could be it. So we're all definitely enjoying the show, yes.
Yeah, but we definitely need a dictionary of what's really happening, why was invented, and why was this in place, and why this. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Background stories.
Before we swing back into the events of the episode, let's talk a little bit about iTunes. If you watch AfterBuzz shows, if you watched last week's episode, you know the spiel, but we're going to continue to do it. Thank you to everyone who has reviewed the show so far. We love you guys.
So much.
And it really helps us. It helps, you know, we want you to support the show, and we'd like you to support us so we can stay on the air too. And you can support us by subscribing and commenting and liking the videos on YouTube, and especially by subscribing to the podcast on iTunes, rating us, leaving reviews, all that fun stuff. Because if you rate us, if you leave us reviews, if you tell us that you like us, that lets our bosses at the studio know, hey, people are really enjoying them talking about this crazy future show. We'd like to continue to hear them talk about this crazy future show, so we should continue to have an after show for Minority Report. In some cases, it also might help us book guests because they see that people are really enjoying this and they want to get it on the party. So rate us, leave reviews. We love you for it. And next week, if we have reviews, I will pull them up and I will read them on the show. So get your reviews in. iTunes takes 3 or 4 days to post them, so get them in soon. And you will get a shout out on the show. So yes, rate, comment, subscribe. We love you for it.
And one thing I love about AfterBuzz, aside this new beautiful studio that we're in lately, is the app. I downloaded the AfterBuzz app, and it's a lot more easy for me to watch it on my phone.
Oh yeah, the app has everything centrally located, all the videos, all the shows. So it's available iTunes and Android Store, I believe.
Yeah, Play Store.
So yes, do the thing, win the stuff. Swinging back into the episode, let's talk about Arthur a little bit. Because we had a lot of interaction with Arthur this episode, and I'm actually starting to like the guy.
Is it because he's cute or what?
Because he has a personality aside from biggest dick in the universe.
Oh!
So I'm actually starting to like him. We got some family bonding time with him and Dash.
Yeah.
We got him actually working with Dash in some capacity, and we got a lot of his talking with Agatha. And we actually had him tell Dash today that, yes, Agatha had this vision. She doesn't want to tell you, but I'm telling you, your detective friend is part of it. They want to put us back in. And Dash doesn't believe it, but that's Dash. He'd like to see the best in people, and Arthur very much sees the worst. I've got a quote written down from him. There's a worst in everyone dying to get out.
Arthur is a typical big brother. You can see his being protective and caring for Dash, but still, he still wants to be the boss and still be the big brother who, leads the pack. And I think, because even Agatha could be manipulating him
Possibly,
to,
yeah.
Yeah, she is the
for
oldest.
Megan, because she know Megan has not Megan, but Vega.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there could be some gameplay, but we have to watch. We'll have to find out.
And what intrigues me is that we got the rule that precogs cannot see their own futures, yet Agatha can see this vision for all three of them. And that's what I find interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So who's seeing her vision? She's kind of just by herself. Like, she can see their brothers, but nobody can see hers. Like, so what if whatever she sees, like, how is she gonna see Dash's vision and Arthur's vision, and then what if it's really her who's like the bad guy at the end of the show? Like, what if it's really she's the one who put him in the milk bath?
Because she is seeing a milk bath for 3, and we
Right.
got the piece of information that she becomes the person whose future she's seeing. So she's probably seeing it from one of her brother's eyes. We just, again, we have no details.
Let me ask this question: why is Agatha so distant? Why is she not a part of the team?
That's her particular choice. She wanted to remove herself from everything, and that was initially where they sent the brothers as well.
Okay.
They put all 3 of them on the house on the island of misfit toys, and Arthur went, nah, I can turn a profit for this, and became a real estate broker.
Gotcha.
And Dash decided he wanted to help. So they both returned to the city for different reasons, and Agatha just went, nope,
Yeah.
I am done with this. For good reason.
I see. Well, she's definitely the villain to me so far.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I would call her the villain because just, the game she played with Charlie, the stuff that she's telling Arthur about Vega, she's setting up something big.
Yep.
I would put her as true neutral on the alignment scale, actually. I wouldn't peg her as evil. Because people do terrible things to protect the ones they love. I don't know that it necessarily makes her a villain, but it does make her very protective of the family that she has. The family that has already been seriously maligned by this world.
I give you that. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Well, it's, a long season.
Nope. She's the villain. She's the villain.
I mean, but you know what? She can end up saving everybody at the end of it and be like, oh my gosh, it was Arthur who was really the bad guy.
No, she's setting something up for her. That's why she has Charlie in there, and I think she's telling the brother something, because I think in my little head over here, I think she's gonna be the one at the end, not inside the milk bath, but helping Vega, helping Laura. Like, it's gonna be all of them.
You think she'd throw her brothers under the bus?
I really do.
Well, she
I
already
honestly do. It's something about her. I just don't trust her. I think she's somehow lying to Dash. I know she's trying to protect him, but we all have somebody out there who wants to protect us.
But she's jealous of him and Vega's relationship.
Exactly. She's out there on the island by herself. Who's she talking to? Like, she's fixing horses and being by herself. She probably wants to be in the city, but since she's the oldest one, she's like, oh no, let me keep on the straight face. She's gonna be the one at the milk bath with Vega.
And she's manipulated Charlie, and she could have Charlie do something on her behalf.
I don't know that she's manipulating Charlie as much, but I think she thinks that Charlie is a little savvier about the world. And again, probably because he is a massive pessimist about people.
I'll give you that.
And Dash wants to trust them and wants to help them. It's optimistic, and it's also somewhat naive for someone who has seen that many people die horribly.
Yeah, right.
But we did have bits, again, in the first episode where she's trying to convince Dash to come home. She wants him out of the city. So I don't necessarily buy that she's evil. I think she just wants to be done with the outside world and can't understand why her brothers still want to be a part of it. I think she'd be perfectly happy on the island with her brothers, just them as a little family, not having to deal with anyone else.
She's going hard for her over there. We're going to have to see this one. This is going to be a good season right here.
I don't know.
I also don't think we'll get an answer before the end of season 1.
I do. I agree with you on that.
I think that Minority Report has set up a very, very long game for this. Because we don't have a time frame for her visions. We get very, very quick turnarounds for Dash and for Arthur, but we don't have a time frame for Agatha.
Exactly, and it doesn't show them a lot either. So, wow, yes, you're right.
And we're also not seeing, they said that they see murder because they see the two opposing forces, which is why they don't see suicides, which is why it's odd later on that Dash sees Mark committing suicide. So the fact that she's getting this vision it has to be two opposing forces at some point, but there doesn't seem to be a murder involved. So why is she seeing it?
Things that make you say,
She's seeing it for a good reason. She's seeing it because she's going to be involved. That's why.
I want the rules of this world. I want them laid out. Tell me how it works.
There you go. 'Cause that's pretty much it. But I like his response because she has somewhere she's involved somehow.
Well, she's seeing herself get thrown back in a milk bath too. That's terrifying.
No. She might be in the milk bath, but she might only be there for a little bit. I mean, we don't know, of course, but her and Vega are just up to something. I just secretly believe she's evil.
Would you have pegged her as this if we didn't see her manipulating Charlie this episode? Did you think of her like this at the end of episode 2?
No.
When she kept talking about telling Arthur about, Vega's gonna set you up and Vega this, it's like, why? I mean, Vega's been very, she hasn't, just because she's making good, she hasn't shown any type of villain in her to me or any type of shiesty or shadiness.
True, but she also joined the force because precog.
Right.
And she just missed it ending.
Well, she wants to save lives. She wants to be the good girl.
That's
Not
true.
Megan Good, I don't know, just like that. But yeah, she wants to be, the superwoman. And it seems like Agatha wants to be Lex Luthor.
I don't know.
No, I would not peg it that way. I'm intrigued.
After the end of episode 2, I didn't think Agatha was evil at all. But this episode here, episode 3, she's showing us her true colors.
So we're seeing this in some very different lights then, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yes, very interesting.
So we've got quite a bit of technology going on in this episode. We have quite a bit going on, and let's talk a little bit more about what happens with Mark. Because he went in for therapy, and we find out that his doctor is crooked and has been paid off by someone else at Narcissus. Again, I don't trust the company name. Who wants Mark's job? Who wants the CEO to step down? And it's messed with his frontal lobe. It's made him extremely impulsive. It's made him almost unable to understand that his actions have consequences. And if you mess with the frontal lobe, it can do a personality 180. There have been historical proof of this. It's happened before. And so have you guys heard any of the stories?
No, I haven't.
There's a story from few decades ago. They were working on the railroad that a guy got a railroad spike driven through his skull. Didn't kill him. Wow. Messed up the frontal lobe, completely 180'd his personality. He was entirely mellow before this. He was a pretty chill guy. After that, he was picking fights all of the time. He was up in everyone's faces. And so if you mess with the frontal lobe, again, we're still not sure how the brain works.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of thing with football and concussions.
Oh, yeah.
They get hit so hard. You see a lot of suicides after football, a lot of physical abuse, domestic violence from that brain being boggled around because, the brain it's very sensitive, and any type of alteration to it, you can, like you said, it could be a whole 180.
Yeah, and again, we're still not 100% certain now how the brain works, which is why this technology that rewires it is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because physical damage, neural damage, again, this is what we're trying to fix with pills and brain surgery and whatnot, and now they have this technology in the future. And it's only been 50 years, and having precog certainly didn't have anything to do with mental health technology.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary to be able to have someone have the technology to go in and mess with your brain and try to fix it. It's like, if it's gone, sometimes it's just gone. But
we're already doing that. Just with slightly more invasive, slightly more primitive. So we have that. So we have Mark, who has had his brain messed with and is driving to essentially a race and a car show, and he goes with his buddies. And that's where this murder takes place, because evidently coming around the corner, he nearly knocked off Trevor Malone, who was riding on his bike. And let's be real, when you're driving a car, you don't want to deal with bicyclists.
No, not at all.
And it's...
Stay in your lane.
The problem is they don't have a lane sometimes, and they have to follow they have to follow traffic, but they can't keep up with the speed of cars. It's kind of a rough place to be.
Yeah.
And so evidently Mark nearly hit him earlier up the road. And now that his car is having trouble and he has to stop and fix it, Trevor comes up and gives him what for. Gets really angry at this guy who nearly killed him with his car, which deservedly so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't know that Mark is a little bit unstable, and it turns into a fight. And thankfully, they show up before we get the killing curb stomp. Yeah. And so it saves Trevor's life, and he winds up on charges of aggravated assault.
Right.
At which point we get a twist to this episode, because usually they stop the murder, okay, everything's cool. And then we get a gift from the doctor that's been working with Dash. It's kind of an Apple Watch.
Yeah, let's look
or
like.
Fitbit, rather.
Fitbit, there you go.
It looks like a Fitbit, but the surgeries take on the form of seizures, I can word, when they come, which is preceded by a spike in body temperature. I can do words. It is in a very long day and a very good episode with a lot to talk about. So he gives him this little wristband that can detect that spike. It's almost like having, a seizure dog, a medical pet companion, except it's on his wrist. And that can give him 30 seconds notice for when he's going to have a vision. And it goes off, and he has another vision, and he sees Mark committing suicide. And that's when we get that really interesting, you don't see suicides, you see the opposing force, right. And that's what brings it up.
The twist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's someone manipulating him into committing suicide. And luckily they get there quickly enough to stop it. But they bring in the doctor. And then they wind up bringing in the coworker because, as it turns out, the doctor had been paid to manipulate Mark's brain into this incredibly damaged state so that after everything happened, he was ready to kill himself because he didn't think it could be fixed. So we end with the assault charges being dropped, with everything being okay. And we have Dash continuing to work with the Force as a consultant from Hawkeye.
Right.
We also have an interesting little character moment. For one, Akilah knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad she knows, because she's the best friend. I mean, you tell your best friends everything, so it's good she knows,
She's a great character. I love her.
She is.
I do.
But wait, sorry. What is that thing on her face?
I think it's makeup.
Oh, because I was like, what? Is it a mask? Or because it's like an eyebrow extended? Then
On her cheek, right? Like
yeah. What is, I need an episode for just for that. I need them to do a background episode to explain what is that on her face.
I think it's probably some fashion trend, but it reminds me of athletes who put the tape in certain places to,
Exactly.
That's what it looks like to me, and I'm sure that's not it. And you could probably tweet the actress and say, hey, is that just a makeup decision? Or answer me this question about your character. So if anyone knows, tweet us, let us know. We would love to find out. And we have Vega's supervisor, former partner, whose name I cannot remember to save my life. That guy.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Wilmer's character, that guy.
Yeah, I cannot remember his name. I'm thinking Bruce, and I know that's not correct. So, guys, tweet us, put it in the comments. Cannot remember that man's name. Brings in Dash and essentially meets with him and says, Vega is known for coloring outside the lines. If she does anything, let us know.
Snitch. Trying to get him to be the snitch.
100%. Because, he's an outside person, right? He doesn't know the department politics. He'll be able to not having any idea that Dash has been working with her already.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, both sides trying to play the middle here. So we'll see how that works out. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the episode?
Wilmer's character is a little, we got to watch him too. You never know. I'm not saying that he's the bad guy, but he's definitely on our side. I don't know what side he is yet, but
his own.
And when he brought Dash into the office, why is Dash always so nervous and so like
he doesn't know how to people?
Exactly.
He's just so like, I like whoever that actor is doing a great job, because every scene he's like, dude, don't you know if you premeditate and you see these many murders, you know to be calm in certain situations. In every situation he's fluxed or out of character, but I guess that's what they want.
He's only ever seen murders, and he spent a lot of his formative years
and
in a milk
brother
vat
too. So
it's kind of like being homeschooled, except you don't ever talk to anyone ever.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to people.
But that's great
He
acting.
doesn't know how to handle himself. He doesn't know how to interact with people. Again, we got is that why you drink? Is that why you're going to see your therapist?
Exactly.
Just like, that's not
Yeah,
normal.
naive.
And he doesn't know it.
He's just not in touch with people.
Right. But
So
no,
he may learn more as the series goes on, but right now he just has no idea how
he's
to
my
handle that.
favorite on the shows.
I know, right?
He's the coolest.
He's just tiny and adorable, and you want to take him home.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have a drink with him.
And I want to wrap him up in a blanket and show him a movie. That's where I'm going.
I'll get him drunk and send him home to you then.
That is not what I was looking for.
Oh,
Okay, we are way off topic. Howard, do you have any final thoughts on the episode?
Sorry. The sister is evil, pretty much. Mark my words, she will be. Yep, I wrote it down on my paper. Why is the sister evil? Then, of course, Dash. I'm hoping that he doesn't get turned around, pretty much. I'm hoping that Laura doesn't cross him in the end. I really hope that vision she had, that the sister had of them in the milk bath, that it's just a setup. Like, maybe Vega is just there to throw everybody off.
At this point, we're into predictions.
Right.
So let's
bit.
do that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Let's swing into predictions and let's talk about that. There we go.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV
And the light show.
predictions.
I love it. So please continue.
So yeah, I'm hoping that milk bath scene, that Laura is just there for a big surprise.
Witnessing.
Right.
Witness.
That she's actually looking in on something else. Like when she's saying, okay, they're in there, plug them up. Hopefully it's just, okay, now everybody leave, and then she takes them out or something. But I do see the sister there too, because she's evil.
Cameron?
I see Wilmer's character getting more suspicious of Dash and really, start looking at him sideways. And I see. Wait a minute, hold on.
Uh-oh, Raven.
Wait a minute.
Here we go.
Somebody might get murdered. Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh no.
It's like, no.
If someone gets murdered, they haven't been doing their job.
I see Arthur and Agatha. I see them two really being bad. And, getting Dash and Vega, and I don't know. I can, Dash, Arthur wants to be a big brother. That's why he said, what did he say when he had the drink? Like, oh, you might be ready for this. You might be more ready than I thought you were. So I think he wants trying to get his little brother tough. That's why he wants to ease him in slow. But still, Agatha's a big, I don't know. I see something with Arthur and Agatha. I don't know what, but something with them two is going to have some friction in the show.
And I'm very intrigued that you see everything Arthur does as, oh, well, he's just trying to protect his brother. But you see what Agatha does as straight up evil, despite the fact that she's working for the same goal.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I see both of them looking out for the brother, but just because Vega's in there, I feel they might do whatever they can do to get her out the picture. So they might have to do some shice or some shade to get her out the picture, even though she might not do anything. But just the fact that her brother's so close and really confides in her, they feel like, wait a minute, what about us? So I don't know. We'll have to see.
So you think they'll force the ends to justify the means then?
There you go.
I think I'm still waiting to see. We got the glimpse of that one guy on the last day of pre-crime, and we haven't seen him again. So I'm waiting for him to show up as one of the heads of Hawkeye or someone who's pulling the strings in the background.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that guy again, and I'm waiting for him to come back around. I can't wait to see what Charlie does, where he winds up, because Agatha wants a man on. Well, Agatha wants a man on the inside, and Charlie has been manipulated like crazy, and Arthur can do identities. So they're going to put him in the police force or the government or something.
See,
Poor
there's
Charlie.
already
So
Arthur
I'm
and
waiting.
Agatha working together already.
Oh, yeah. Well, they all do. I'm waiting for that to happen, and I'm waiting for it to backfire spectacularly. And I kind of want a backstory episode with the doctor that works with them.
Yep.
I want to know more about this guy. How did
Yeah.
he get into pre-crime?
Yep.
What is he doing? What are they? I want to see more with that.
We need a whole bunch of just backstory episodes, because we're lost. I just want to know a little bit more, like a side episode.
We do. Show me your flashbacks. And I'm waiting for, we had a throwaway line about Vega not wanting to get therapy and having not dealt with the implications of her father's death. And I'm waiting for that to come right back around and hit her in the face.
Yeah.
Lots of foreshadowing in here. I can't wait. All right. Well, that is our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Cameron, where can the people find you?
Hey, find me at Cameron Penny on Instagram, and it'll take you to my whole world.
Howard?
Alrighty. And you can find me Twitter and Instagram at Howard III.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet, and on Snapchat at Kia Prime. That's Kiaxet, and I hope you guys can spell Kia Prime. I am also on a ton of other after shows: Z Nation, Blind Spot, The Muppets, Guardians of the Galaxy, which is going to start in just a few minutes. And I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight, and we will see you in the future.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.